just, you know.
All right, I always forget to record stuff, so.
You and me both. We won't attribute it to age, but it's technology. That's what it is.
Yep.
So good. So I understand I've got maybe 15, 20 minutes. So this is going to go by extremely quickly, but let me do a couple technical things while I try to talk and make sure my screen sharing is working, because if it's not, I've really got to be creative.
It's working.
It is working. So you all are seeing, hopefully, LinkedIn right now. Now, I'm going to try to make this as interactive as I can. I know some of you are definitely on LinkedIn. I know that some of you are driving. So James, I will not ask you to look at the screen. Please keep your eyes on the road. As Andrew was saying, I, about 3.5 years ago, started working with a company that focuses on helping sales organizations and sales teams create more sales conversations and build their sales pipeline. Prior to that, I spent about 7 or 8 years mainly working with small businesses and professionals on how to use LinkedIn as part of their marketing and branding strategy. Now, first question, and just a warning, I don't ask rhetorical questions, so I'm always going to wait for an answer. You can unmute yourself or just drop it in chat. Stephen, I know you're on LinkedIn. June, apart from Stephen, June, Andrew, and Lynn, how many of you are on LinkedIn and look at it at least once a week? You can unmute or drop it in chat. Okay, thanks, James. I know you're driving, so I'd give you extra points if I could. Let's see, I'm checking chat here. Oh, they're coming in. Yeah, thanks, Latasha. Thank you, Aaron. All righty. You're on it, Dr. Kemp, but don't check. Okay. Shaniqua, thank you. All righty. So in most cases, people are on this platform, but a lot of us aren't leveraging it to the extent that we can. So I'm going to touch on a couple things. One is taking advantage of what Andrew alluded to, which is using LinkedIn to help develop and expand your professional brand. Another area is using LinkedIn to find business contacts. Now, I'm not going to be able to take time to go into depth on that, but it's an extremely powerful capability of LinkedIn. And then a third area is using LinkedIn to basically build your professional reputation, position yourself as a resource in your area of expertise by posting content and engaging with content that other people post. Again, we could do an hour training on each of those 3 topics, but I just want to try and touch on them. And I do want to leave a couple of minutes, if it's okay, for questions at the, well, not at the end. I'm going to ask if there are questions after about the first 5 minutes. First thing is your profile. I'm not going to go to anyone's profile and use you as an example just to spare everyone's feelings here. But if you had to guess, when someone comes to your profile, what do you think the first thing is that their eyes are drawn to? So someone comes to you on LinkedIn, as Andrew said, a lot of times they're more likely to find you on LinkedIn than on your website. But they come to your LinkedIn profile. What do you think they look at first?
I always look at the picture.
Thank you, Latasha. Yep, exactly. So just make sure that you have a current picture. Now I realize, you know, some of it has have changed in the past couple of years, but make it a current picture. Please do not use a picture that's 5 years and 25 pounds ago. Make it a current picture. Okay, because you want, particularly now that we're getting back to meeting in person, if someone sees you and meets you on LinkedIn and they later meet you in person, you want the 2 to match. You don't want people to be shocked when they meet you in person after looking at your LinkedIn profile. So just make it a headshot. You don't have to pay money for it. You can have someone take a picture of you with a nice smartphone. The picture quality is fine. Do not do a selfie because everyone can tell what you're doing. Do not take a picture of yourself in your car. Do it against a solid background that brings out your face and what you're wearing, ideally. And showing some teeth does not hurt. Okay, so a smile just makes you a little bit more relatable. Now, after your photo, the next thing that most people will look at, and this is where the search engines come in as well, is your headline. And your headline is this maximum 220 character area that appears under your name. Now, I will say this, because I noticed Shaniqua popped in like a cover image or banner. This big banner that I have behind me that says Prospect Better, Sell More, if you have someone, a resource that can help you with graphics, because I'm not the guy when it comes to that, I'm graphically challenged, so a designer did this, but you can go to a source like Fiverr, fiverr.com, I believe it's with 2 R's, online, and have someone design a nice banner for you. Because as you can see, that's a lot of real estate on your profile, and it's an opportunity for branding. Okay. Now, that said, let me go back to the headline. The headline's an area where you have 220 characters to try to give your 30-second elevator pitch in a maximum of 220 characters. Now, you notice that I mentioned your human visitor and the search engines, because you want to be cognizant of writing your LinkedIn profile for both of those entities. Your human visitor is obviously the most important, but don't forget about the search engines, which just means that be cognizant of the keywords that you want to be found for. So if someone were searching for you in Google in terms of what you offer and how you can help them, what do you think the keywords are that they'd be looking for in Google if they're looking for your business, your service, how you can help them? And make sure that you incorporate some of those keywords into your headline and throughout your LinkedIn profile. Okay, what most people will do, which is a big mistake, is just put their title in their headline, because we're used to thinking of our LinkedIn profile like an online resume. Now, I'm going to assume that most of you on this call are not looking for a job. Most of you, I'm assuming, want to expand your business. So keep in mind that your ideal prospect is normally not interested in your title. They're interested in one thing.
What do you do?
How can Stephen, how can June, how can Latasha, how can the other Stephen, because there's more than one of you on this call. There's a V and there's a PH version of Stephen. They're interested in how can this person help me? They're interested in what can Wayne do for me? They're not interested in anything else. So your LinkedIn headline needs to answer that question for them. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Can I get like a head nod or a thumbs up, or you can unmute yourself? Okay, all righty. Now, so we talked a little bit about, you're using your banner, your photo. This little thing right here, has anyone recorded their name pronunciation on LinkedIn? Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure my screen was sound, so I'm not going to play it. But what it is this is something where you can, on your mobile app only. So if you're old school like me and do everything on a desktop, in order to take advantage of this, you need the mobile app. And it's worth having the mobile app anyway, since we do most of what we do on the phone. But on your mobile app, on your profile, there's a place where you can record name pronunciation. Now, not only does that help people pronounce your name correctly, but it also gives you, I guess I can admit, people, this also gives you a chance to briefly, because you only have 10 seconds, explain how you can help people. Now, hopefully, Lynn and Andrew, it's okay that when I see these admit buttons, I'm letting people in.
Yeah, you're totally fine. We've got you set up
Oh.
as a co-host, and that's a byproduct of that.
Cool. Super. Okay. So just be aware that this is something that most people probably aren't taking advantage of, but you can. If you are doing video, you can also, and it's funny because I can play everyone's except for mine when I'm demonstrating this. So let me just go to one of my colleagues. Let me go to Viv's profile and show you this. If you're comfortable on video, you can record what's called a cover story. So in addition to your photo, you can also record a 30-second video. And again, use that to explain to people how you help them and what business problem you solve. Now, the last thing I'm going to touch on in the interest of time, and Lynn or Andrew, can you give me a heads up when I have about 8 minutes left? Because I want to stick to your schedule.
Actually, you can go longer because we didn't have the member spotlight. So if you want another 10, 15 minutes, that's
Okay. Then I'll go, just give me a heads up then when I have, say, 10 minutes left by your clock, and I'll just work around that.
Okay.
Let me then touch on the about section and something called featured, and then I'll talk a little bit about networking. Now, normally I like to make this more interactive, but because we're limited on time, I'm not going to ask as many questions of you as I usually would, but I will stop to ask if anyone has questions in about 2 minutes. So if you have questions, think of them because I'm going to stop in a couple minutes. You want to take advantage also of the fact that you have a section called About, where people will see the first 3 sentences then in there, but when you click See More, you have up to 2,600 characters where you can go into depth in describing who you help, how you help them, what business pain you solve, what makes you different from your competitors. So this is the section of LinkedIn where you have the most space to talk about what you do. You keep hearing, I know I sound like a broken record for those of us who remember what records were, but you keep hearing me say who you help and how you help them, okay? Most of us are used to talking about our product or service. When you're writing this section, you want to make sure that you clearly identify your audience, what their business pain is, and how you solve that pain for them. Because again, they're not interested in real estate. They're not interested in insurance. They're not interested in technology. They're only interested in how you can help them solve business problems. So make sure that you cover that in this space, okay? The other thing that I know some of you are using, but many people may not be, is this featured section here, where you can attach everything from PDFs to PowerPoint presentations to links to videos, to links to articles that you've written yourself, if any of you are writing blog posts. So take advantage of this because as you can see, these are nice big thumbnail images that pop up on your LinkedIn profile so that your profile is not all text. And this is one of the features of LinkedIn that helps your profile stand out a little bit. So you can add media like this here in the featured section. Now, you may say, Stan, I don't have featured on my profile. Where do I find it? One of the sections that you'll come to love on LinkedIn is this add profile section. So if you don't have featured now, you'll want to come to add profile section. Now you'll notice that on mine, they have it very cleverly hidden because I already have featured. But if you don't have featured yet, when you click on this add to profile section, featured you should find in core. Now, if anyone on the call wants to multitask, and if you don't have featured, if you go to that add profile section and you don't already have featured, let me know if you see the featured option under core, because this is something that frankly I haven't been able to test, and LinkedIn recently changed the layout of this section. Okay, but as you can see, in addition to featured, you can add education. Career break is brand new. I haven't even had a chance to play with this. You can add skills. Under recommended, well, now they've added it. Bless their hearts. I love it. This is where you can add featured. Yes, Stephen, you deal with technology, so you're laughing because this is what happens. LinkedIn will make an update and yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't
move it
tell
around.
anybody
Yeah,
about
I
it.
know. But it's under recommended, yes.
It's under recommended. It's not under core. But as you can see, you can also add licenses. You can add relevant courses you've taken. You can add recommendations. In other words, this is where you can ask for a recommendation. A quick side note, recommendations on LinkedIn are extremely powerful because they give you credibility. Now I'm going to take a quick detour and then I'm going to stop and ask for questions. But here's what recommendations look like. Right after skills, you see when someone recommends you, their LinkedIn photo appears right next to the recommendation. So it's always better to have other people talk about what a good job you did for them than just for you to be talking about it yourself. So LinkedIn recommendations will definitely add credibility to your profile. Take advantage of them. Okay, best way to ask someone for a recommendation, reach out to them by phone or email before you send LinkedIn's canned recommendation request and say something to the effect of, hey, Wayne, I know we've worked together in the past. I'm updating my LinkedIn profile. Are you comfortable giving me a brief LinkedIn recommendation based on the work that we've done together? And Wayne can either say, sure, or, well, you know, it's been a while. I'm not comfortable for whatever reason. You give them a way out. Now, here's the golden tip. If someone says, yes, absolutely, I'll write a recommendation for you. Here's what I suggest. Offer to send them bullet points of what you want them to cover in the recommendation, or to send them a draft of what you'd love them to write in the recommendation. Now, can anyone guess why I suggest that you essentially volunteer to write your own recommendation, or at least give them bullet points?
Less time
So
for
you
them
get
to
what
be
you
able to
want.
do it.
Yep, so June, less time, and someone else said?
So you get what you want.
James, yep, both of you nailed it. Those are the two biggest reasons, but most people will never do those two things. They'll say, great, James volunteered to write me a recommendation, wonderful. Now, here's the thing, people are willing to help you, but everyone is time broke. So like June said, if you give them bullets or even a draft, it saves them a huge amount of time. And as James just said, it ensures that you want the aspects of your work experience together to appear, that they'll appear in the recommendation. Because the worst thing in the world is for Stephen to write me a recommendation saying, hey, I worked with Stan, it was great, you should work with him. Well, I appreciate that, but what does that do? So when you at least give them bullets with the keywords, the highlights of your work experience together, exactly how you help them, then you're ensuring that those get into your recommendations, okay? And LinkedIn, the search engines are searching LinkedIn, your whole profile for keywords. So you want to make sure that those appear in your on your profile. Now, let me stop. Questions? Any questions that anyone has, either about what I've talked about or something that I haven't talked about around LinkedIn? Yep, go ahead, June. I see your hand first.
How often should you go on LinkedIn? And what is the best time for posting on LinkedIn?
How often depends on your schedule. I mean, I suggest that people go on there at least once a day. Now, yes, I'm biased because LinkedIn is still one of my primary focus, even though it's expanded considerably beyond that. I spend a lot of time training on how to use video these days for sales. But one of the things that LinkedIn shows you that no other social network does, at least not to my knowledge, is who's looked at your profile. And a lot of times, most people on LinkedIn are lurkers, which is to say they will read what other people are posting. They'll come look at your profile if you're recommended or something, but they won't engage with you. But what LinkedIn allows you to see from your homepage and from your profile is who's looked at your profile. You can just go to the left rail, click on who's viewed your profile. Now, here's why I suggest that you look at your profile daily. Because if you have the free version of LinkedIn, you're only going to see the last 5 people that have looked at your profile in the last 90 days. So every time someone new comes to look at your profile, that 5th person at the bottom drops from view. And people don't stumble across your LinkedIn profile by mistake. They come there for a reason, even if they never reach out to you otherwise. So the point is, if they visit your profile, you want to take that as an opportunity to reach out to them. And some people say, well, doesn't that seem like stalking in reverse? It's like they've come looked at my profile, and now all of a sudden I'm reaching out to them. It's like, whoa, how did that happen? Well, most people on LinkedIn know that if they look at your profile, you can see it. But it's an opportunity for you to engage. And when I say engage, I just mean, go to their profile, because I believe it's LinkedIn still has it. If you click this connect button, it may send them LinkedIn's default. I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn invitation. You always want to add a note. So what I would do is come to Craig's profile. You can take 15 to 30 seconds tops to scan their profile, look at their headline, look at their about section. And in 30 seconds, you'll know whether this is someone you want to connect with professionally. If it is, go ahead and click the connect button. Always use add a note. And I can't remember what my view. No, don't have that saved. You can write them a quick note. Hey, thanks for dropping by my LinkedIn profile. Are you open to connecting on LinkedIn? That's all you need. And then send it. Okay, because they've already knocked on your front door by coming to your profile. Now, when to post on LinkedIn? During business hours is best. It's something you can experiment with, because everyone on this call has a different audience who may have different times a day that they're on LinkedIn. Okay, so if you're dealing with professionals, they may get on there, well, if they're riding the train, during their commute, during lunch. So experiment with when to post, because it's going to be different for everybody. So good question. Other questions? I thought I heard someone else jumping in.
Stan, I got a question for you. So one of the things you mentioned is that everywhere in your profile, there should be keywords that link back to what you do. I never realized that the search engines played into even the headline being included as a place you want to make sure those keywords are.
Yep. Good. Good point. The headline is the first place that the search engines look after your name. So that's why, even though it's only 220 characters, it's worth taking the time to think about exactly what to put in there. Because it's actually harder to write something short and succinct than it is to write a paragraph about how you help people.
Wow.
Now, don't get hung up on the keywords and SEO. Okay, there may be people on this call, I know Stephen knows this, people get paid a lot of money to help companies SEO optimize their website and their other digital assets. So just be aware of it. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about, okay, do I use this keyword or that keyword? Do make sure that the keywords you most want to be found for appear in your profile. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Did that answer your question though, at least in part?
It sure did. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Let me mention a couple other things right quick, because I know that this time's going to go by super fast. Finding people. Let me ask this, and whoever jumps in to chat first is, or the first one or two people are who we're going to go with. If you were describing your ideal buyer persona in terms of a title, because that's, frankly, I'm being selfish because that's the easiest way for me to find people. What title of people are you looking to connect with on LinkedIn? In other words, who writes the checks to you? Who buys from you? Drop it in chat, or you can unmute yourself. I just want to use buyer persona as an example to talk about building your network and search. So I see something in chat, bear with me. Coaches, awesome. Life coaches, what type of coaches, Denise?
Business coaches primarily.
Business coaches. All right, super. Denise, and this is a question for everybody. How many, well, have you used LinkedIn search features before?
No.
All right, well, then this will be good for you. And all right, and we have business owner also. Married with kids, homeowners with jobs. That one takes a little more creativity. Coaches, a little easier. So I'm coming to this top search bar and I'm just clicking in it and I'm hitting the enter key on my keyboard. That's how I got to where I am right now. So I just put my cursor in the search bar, I hit enter. It brought me to this. What I'm going to do right now is select people. As you see though, you can search for posts, for jobs, for companies, for groups, courses, services. And actually, I'm going to go to all filters, because that's going to be a people filter. Now I got to get this zoom bar out of the way. And as you notice, there are a number of different ways you can search for people. And basically that's what a filter is. I'm going to suggest you start searches with your first and not third, first and second degree connections. If anyone wants to know why, you can ask me and I'll explain after I go through this. Many of you may also want to search by geography. So let me see, I'm gonna try to learn how to type. Once upon a time, and let me make sure that I'm not lying here, because once upon a time, you couldn't search by state, but in the free version of LinkedIn, but then they changed it such that you can. And now it looks like they may have taken that away again, bless their hearts. So what I'm going to do is use New York City metro area. Now we're talking about coaches. So I'm going to go down to title. The title field here is gold. Now, you notice I typed the word coaches and then I put or in caps. That's no accident. Some of you may be familiar with Boolean search, which is just a way of expanding your searches or narrowing them. Narrowing your searches is what you're going to usually need to do on LinkedIn, because it's going to come back with too many search results. You notice I put the word business coaches in quotes to try to get LinkedIn to just search for business coaches and not the keywords of business and coaches. Interesting. Okay. I got 42 results, which is a manageable number of results. But I believe it was Denise who was asking about coaches. Denise, the search results I got are going to be different from the search results you're going to get, because I'm searching by my first and my second degree connections, which are people that I'm directly connected with on LinkedIn, or people that I share a mutual connection with on LinkedIn. Okay, so the search that I just did is a search that I suggest that you try. And let me find Zoom again. Let me get back to my meeting controls. Please hold one moment while I try to get Zoom to cooperate with me. And Denise, the link that I just dropped into Zoom chat, click on it. And when you get a chance, let us know how many search results you get. And anyone else is welcome to click on it. But what I just shared is the link to this specific search. It should bring up the same search filters.
I get 36 people.
And they're probably different from the people that are on my screen, because your network is different from mine.
Yeah, it's actually a mix. So
Okay.
we have people in common.
All right.
Yeah.
So one of the nice things about LinkedIn is that you can, like you just saw, if you create a search that really works for you, you can just either bookmark the link and save it in a folder, or you can just create a document and drop the links right in there so that you don't have to go back and recreate the same search over and over again. Okay. Now, I could spend all of our time just talking about search, because this is a very, very powerful feature of LinkedIn. And as you start to play with these filters, you'll realize that, hey, this is like, not only is it like a Rolodex on steroids, but it's a way of finding people, having a look at them to see, number one, if you share any common connections that could potentially give you an introduction. And number two, to see if the person that you're looking at is posting content on LinkedIn, which gives you an opportunity to engage with them. So what do I mean by that? Well, I'm just going to click on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, open Jean or Jean's profile in a new tab so I don't lose this search. I can come right back here. And what I'm going to do is, number one, you all know you can follow someone. And if you follow someone, they get notified that you're following them. So that's a light way of just kind of tapping them on the shoulder without sending them a LinkedIn request. But what I also suggest that you do is look and see if they have any activity. And click on show all activity. And I'm going to go to posts, and you're recording this, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going fast, because you can always go back and look at this. But the reason that I'm going to posts is because posts are something that someone has taken the time to actually post, whereas all activity shows you things that they've just liked and otherwise reacted to, which is just a click. But if you find that they're actually posting on LinkedIn, this is an opportunity for you to start a relationship with a person of interest by looking to see if there are any posts that you could comment on. And when I say comment, I do not mean write a comment promoting your business. Okay, that's a quick way to turn people off. But I mean writing a comment that contributes to the discussion or adds to the discussion. When you comment on someone's post, you're helping them because it's a signal to LinkedIn's algorithm that someone's interested in what they posted. So LinkedIn's algorithm is going to show their post to more people. And it also helps you because you can get on their radar when you comment, because LinkedIn will notify them that you've commented. And it's also a good idea to tag them. Now, LinkedIn should be smart enough to bring up Jean's name at the top. And I don't know why, maybe because he's using Jean Renard. That is really interesting. And what's fascinating is that LinkedIn only does this when I'm training. Because normally what will happen is if you mention someone, they should appear at the top of the list. You shouldn't have to scroll down to look for them. So I don't know why LinkedIn is having a bad day today. What I would do is hit the backspace so that I just get his first name and just try to add something substantive to the discussion. Now, I realize I went through this really quick, but any questions thus far? Let me go to chat. And okay, this is good. And by the way, anyone on the call, you're welcome to shoot me a LinkedIn invitation. The only thing that I would ask is just that you let me know that we met virtually on this call. So please just include a note so I know who you are, so to speak. And it also is just a good habit. Now I'm trying to get LinkedIn to cooperate with me, but any questions while I'm navigating LinkedIn and getting it to do what I want it to do here? And again, you can unmute yourself because I think folks can do that. Or if you have a question now, let me check the chat.
I
How
have a
many
question.
hashtags? Another great question. Thanks, June. 3 max. So I'll say 3 to 5 max, because you can use hashtags not only at the end of your posts, but you can also use them within your posts. And let me use an example of this. And I'm gonna try to find, because Mario is super active on LinkedIn, and it's going to be quicker for me to find.
While Stan is finding that, if someone else has a question, just use the raise your hand feature so you don't get missed.
Yep, thank you. So here's a quick example of hashtags, because again, this is something most people won't do. LinkedIn will automatically add hashtags or suggest hashtags, suggest hashtags based on what you start typing into your post. So the algorithms are smart, but you want to be very intentional. So you'll notice that Mario has included a hashtag in his first sentence, another one in his second sentence, and so forth. So even though I said 3 to 5 hashtags, he's using them, number one, very strategically throughout his post, and you can also use them at the end of your post. And Denise, I see your raised hand, so I'm going to jump over to you in just a second. You notice he's also linked to, this is actually a podcast episode of his. And when someone, let me just see, because normally what happens is, this must be a super new post. It is. Because here's what I'm going to suggest, because 9 times out of 10, Mario will do this, but this just tells me that he's unbelievably busy, and I know that he is for a number of reasons. But when people engage with your post, and you'll get notified when they do your best to try to engage with them. So if they make a comment, try to respond. And Mario will usually do that, but I also know that he's got a LinkedIn network of about 20,000 plus people. And a lot of times he gets a lot of engagement. So for example, in this post, he got 59 comments, and you'll notice John has tagged Mario. Mario has responded to John and tagged him. Now, Denise, you had your hand raised. Can anyone go live on LinkedIn?
The question.
Great question. The answer is I'm honestly not sure. At one point, LinkedIn was, you had to apply, but I don't know what the current situation is right now as far as using LinkedIn Live. If you connect with me on LinkedIn and drop me a direct message, I can find out for you. By the way, one of the best ways to get your questions answered about LinkedIn is on Twitter, believe it or not. And on Twitter, just tweet and mention @LinkedIn Help. @LinkedIn Help on Twitter. And believe it or not, you will get some of the fastest responses, because there is no, well, let's just say that the help capability on LinkedIn, unless you're using a premium version, is anemic. But if you go to Twitter and mention @LinkedIn Help, a lot of times you'll get your questions answered there. So sorry, I don't have a definitive answer for you as far as LinkedIn Live, but if you ping me, if you DM me on LinkedIn, connect with me and ping me, I'll find out. Other questions, because I realize that, again, we're probably coming up on time. As you can tell, I can talk for a long time about LinkedIn, because when we do training for sales teams, it's basically a 13-week program altogether, 4 of which are just preparation, but the actual training is a good 8 weeks. And yeah, so there's a lot we can talk about with this platform. But other questions, because the questions have been great, and I'd rather answer questions than go off on different tangents, so that y'all can take away something you can start using right away. So I'm checking chat to see if there are other questions. Has this been helpful so far? Because sometimes when there are no questions, it means that, you know, everybody is tuned out and multitasking, but I always like to check. Okay, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Thanks, Latasha. Are there other areas you would like me to dive into in more depth, whether it be other things you can do with your profile, searching, using LinkedIn search? You've been updating your profile. Awesome. Latasha, can you do me a favor? Can you drop a link to your profile in chat, if you don't mind? And believe me, I'm always nice to people when I'm looking at their profile, but if you want me to have a look at your profile while we're on here, drop the link in chat. And you know what I'll do is I'll try and give helpful suggestions on what you might be able to do to fine tune it. Other questions though, while we've got time?
Yes, Ken.
Yes.
Yeah, is there any way that I can connect with someone who has premium if I don't have premium? Because it usually stops you.
Now, when you say connect, you mean sending them a LinkedIn invitation and connect directly on LinkedIn?
Correct.
Even if and when you say it stops you, are you getting a message from LinkedIn saying that you've reached the limit of your searches? And
No, not that. It's just, it'll say, like when I press connect, it'll go to, like, I guess, premium. Like, let me try to do it again real quick now.
here, yeah, and tell me what comes up, because that's a good question. If it's happening to you, I know it's happening to other people. What I would love to do is, Andrew and Lynn, is it okay if she shares her screen? because I'll stop
got it.
sharing.
I got, maybe
you-
somebody, if it'll be faster if somebody, tell whoever has premium here.
No,
Then I
I've
can
got
try.
premium,
You
but
got premium, okay,
I want to help you specifically.
yes, yes.
So if
no,
you're okay sharing your screen,
Sure, yep,
and I don't want to put people on the spot, but I do want to be helpful.
no
Now,
problem. Okay, I just need to, be able to share my screen now. Host has to enable.
so let's see, do you see a green share screen button at the bottom of your
Mm.
screen in Zoom?
Yes,
This-
it's disabled though, so the host has to press share screen multiple participants. So I can't,
okay.
mhm,
Hold on, let me see if that's me.
And
okay,
if it's easy to do, we'll do it. If not, we'll go to plan B and I'll just share my screen and see if we can pull up an example. But
okay,
but 9 times out of 10, when I'm doing coaching with people, it's they're sharing their screen. Now, is it Arletha? And bear with me if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Yes,
That's correct. Yes.
we've worked with financial services firms, and absolutely we do understand FINRA and SEC and the fact that you're limited in terms of the claims that you can make and getting recommendations and so forth. So I realize for y'all it's harder, at least in terms of what you can do on your profile. Now, LinkedIn isn't limiting what you can do proactively by using their search feature to find people and reach out to them to start relationships with them. So you can do that. But I understand that on your profile, yes, you do have to be cognizant, and that your compliance department is probably looking right over your shoulder.
I don't think most of them are on LinkedIn, so they don't understand it.
And when you say them, you mean your prospects, or you mean,
Compliance.
oh my. Well, that's I was going to say that's a benefit to you.
No,
'cause a
some
lot
of the comments that I've gotten from compliance, I just want to ask them, have you used LinkedIn and do you know how it works? So,
Oh, well, regardless of what compliance says, you should leverage LinkedIn. I mean, that's a whole
oh,
discussion.
I
in of
have.
it- in of
I
it.
have the premium version.
Okay. There's some great questions coming in. Thank you, Shaniqua. Latasha asked, can I have multiple profiles because I wear several hats? That is an awesome question. Sadly, the answer is no, because it's against LinkedIn's terms of service for you to have more than one profile, because they consider you as one person, even though you're wearing multiple hats. Now, eons ago, I wrote a blog post about that, but in essence, you have to figure out what your priority is. And yes, you can talk about the different things that you do on your profile, but you don't want to confuse people. And that's the balancing act. So in your headline, I would suggest that you pick your highest priority, focus on that in your headline. Now, in your about section, since you have 2,600 characters, you can use some of that space to talk about the multiple hats that you wear. But I understand and recognize that LinkedIn doesn't make it easy when you wear multiple hats. And it's like, okay, what do I do? Now, one thing that you can think about is using a LinkedIn company page if one of your hats is more business to business or business to professional.
Okay, that makes sense, because I have, my own business, but then I also work for someone. So I've been using LinkedIn primarily just as, a business connector. But you've given such great tips that I'm thinking, oh, I should have this for my own business. So, got it.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And I don't want to hold anyone that's got to drop. I'm sure that the recording will be available. Other questions, though, because I may have missed some of the questions in chat. So just unmute yourself, because in whatever
Sorry,
time we
Stan, I
have.
just have a quick comment just for what you
Yes.
just said. For the people who may be leaving, unfortunately, if that happens, please put your information in the chat so that somebody can reach out to you later on if necessary.
Okay,
Great.
so
Yeah.
let's take one more question and then we should be good.
All righty. So last question. I see Dr. Kemp. Okay, so you've put your information in there. In case anyone does have a question, one thing that Andrew mentioned is that people expect to find you on LinkedIn. So if you're in business, you're a professional, everyone expects to find you on LinkedIn. So take advantage of that to craft a LinkedIn profile that positions you the way you want to be positioned as a professional. Okay, don't miss the opportunity. Any last questions? Because I want to respect everyone's time here. If not, I'm not going to hold, folks. Andrew, I'm going to take it over. Yes, emojis are well liked. It's funny, not so much by LinkedIn, but more by the human eye. So that's why we suggest, even though I'm not crazy about emojis, we suggest including them on your profile because it breaks up your profile and that the human eye is drawn to emojis. So that's why. Okay, Andrew, with that, I'm done. I'm just turn it back to you.
First, Stan, definitely want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. This was outstanding as always. So definitely thank you for that. I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yes.
And I think that, everything that Stan said is key. You can continue to, should always look at your profile and as it evolves, but using LinkedIn as a business owner is key. One thing that I always do is if I'm introducing someone, I do a lot of introductions via email, and I put both people's LinkedIn addresses in there. So think of it as if you're getting introduced to someone you don't know, is your LinkedIn profile what you want your first impression to be? And that can give you some guidance as well. But yeah, no, this is great. Hopefully everybody here should be connected to each other on LinkedIn, or if not, within a day or so, you should be connected because we should all be connected on LinkedIn as well as other ways, because that's a good way that we can help support each other being more successful in business. So cool. Thanks again, Stan. This was great. And, definitely, hopefully everybody got something out of it. I did. I'm on LinkedIn all the time, but it's always good to hear these things and make me think about kind of what I'm doing there. So cool.
Thanks, Andrew.
Okay.
Yep. I just dropped a quick website into chat, which has nothing directly to do with LinkedIn, but is a phenomenal time-saving tool. If anyone on the call uses text expanders, this is a text expander that helps you save time on any repetitive messages, which when you stop and think about it, are probably a lot.
Okay. Oh, I might have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a Chrome extension, so just be aware. You want to use it in Chrome.
Okay, cool. Definitely that'll be helpful. And anything else anyone want to cover with Stan before he goes? All right. Well,
Another thank you, Stan.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. Okay, so we started introducing everybody. So we try and get done, I always shoot for trying to get done by 7:30. So that'll give everybody like a minute or less to introduce yourself. So let's continue with that and try and take a minute or less. Anyone want to start us off again on the second half of introductions?
I'll go because I have to jump real quick, if that's okay.
Yep.
My name is Latasha Sturdestell. I am the CEO and founder of Black Love Boutique. We are a fashion company selling fashion apparel online, and our motto is at Black Love Boutique, it's not just a t-shirt, but it's a mindset. And so I have a lot of great designs and everything, and I'm also a brand new member. Well, I guess not so much anymore, but I think I joined January, but this is my second meeting, so I'm trying to be consistent. So thank you very much. Every time I come, there's great stuff, so I'll definitely will be back again. Thank
Okay, great. Now, welcome on board. That's a good point. We didn't talk about membership, but if you're not a member, definitely think about it. We've got a special introductory rate these days of $10 a month. So we wanted it to be affordable for anybody who would like to do it. So definitely, I'll put our website in the chat, but you can do it right on there, and we'd love to have you as a member. Our goal is to grow significantly this year, and we can't do it without you. And Tasha, just like you said, we want to make sure we have good content so people are finding every time they interact with us valuable. So excellent. So also you can tell your friends, who aren't members, that this could be a valuable experience for them as well. So cool. All right. So who do we have next? Denise, cool.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Denise Dennis, and I'm an email marketing automation strategist and Keep certified partner. I work with busy coaches, helping them automate the business side of their business so that they can spend more time coaching, which is the thing they went into business for in the first place.
Okay, cool. All right. Next, we've got
I can go, Andrew.
I was going to call on you, actually.
There you go. Steve Flood's Comage. Most people know this. I'm the technology guy. So I won't go through all that, but we have seen an awful lot of interest lately in new store openings, or kind of a refurb store opening, and multiple stores in multiple locations. So we're going to start focusing on that just because we're getting more interest in that. And I hope that's a good sign for the economy.
Yes, excellent, excellent, cool. Thank you, thank you. Curtis, you want to go? I see your head bobbing.
Okay, yes, how you doing, Andrew? Good to be here tonight. Cadorso Falcon, financial services professional, under the auspicious of Mass Mutual, New Jersey, New York City, also a broker writing for many different companies, as well as healthcare for seniors and the disabled. And this, I just want to highlight, April is Financial Literacy Month. And so this month I'm doing lives. Someone had brought up lives, but I'm doing lives on my personal page. I wish I could do it through LinkedIn, but on my personal page tomorrow at 7:30 p.m., we'll be talking about the difference between cash value life insurances. So all the cash value life insurances, we're going to educate on the differences of the different types. So just 30 minutes, my page, Cadorso Falcon, on Facebook, if you would want to come on and join me. Thanks.
Great, thanks. No, excellent. Everybody should have life insurance if they don't. So definitely good to get educated about that. So excellent. All right. Dr. Kemp, you want to go? I can't see if you're.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kemp, and I actually own a home health care agency. And my target niche are the veterans as well as the elderly. I'm currently looking for certified home health aides. So please, if you know of anyone who is certified, I'm definitely looking. And I also own a developmental disability agency. So I service adults 21 and older who are disabled. So again, I'm looking for caregivers. So please send them my way. Thank you.
Okay, great, great. Thank you. Welcome. Okay, Jim, you want to go next?
Sure. Am I unmuted? I guess I am.
No, we can.
Good. My name is Jim Tritola. My company is called Senior Care Consultation of New Jersey. I have a free service. I'm a certified senior advisor and a certified dementia practitioner, and I help people with their parents or grandparents. I help them find help in the home. So I might, be able to talk with Dr. Kemp with that. I do refer to home health care. I help people get modifications in the home. I place people in assisted living and nursing homes. So, anything related to the senior world. In addition, I'm also, and it's somewhat related, I'm a licensed Medicare broker in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. So a lot of times I help people not only find some, good, appropriate living solutions, but pick and choose the correct, Medicare coverage, which will help them get great coverage and save them some money perhaps. I'm based in Springfield and I cover like anywhere. I am where my office is where I am. So I put my contact information in chat. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jim. Thanks,
You
Jim.
bet. You bet.
All right. Well, June, you look like you're in a nice, comfortable space. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, June Lazaro from Primerica. I've been a member of the chamber for 20 years. I love the business. Primerica, our mission is to help people become debt-free, budget, and save for what they want in life. And you need a financial plan that's a customized solution for you. I also specialize in financial wellness. I am speaking at the Linden Chamber in May. And I just want to plug a couple people here. I think that Stan, I know I've used his services. I've used Steve's services, right? And Andrew's. It's all fantastic. So continue networking and let's build the businesses together. Thank you.
Thanks, June. Excellent. Arletha, I'm not sure if you went.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Arletha Williams. I own my own financial planning firm in Chatham, New Jersey. I was in Summit, but the owner of the business refused to renew the lease, so we had to find a new place to move. So I am now located in Chatham. My focus is helping people to take the risk out of what they have already built. Most people concentrate on investments, but they don't give thought to what can happen in a split second to make all of your hard work disappear. So that is where my focus is.
Okay, great. Okay, no, that's cool. Did I miss anybody?
Chamber.
Okay. Yeah, we got Len and we got Aaron. Aaron, you want to say hello?
Sure. Hi, I'm Erin. I'm with the Gateway Chamber. I'm the assistant to the president. So I manage our website, help people with their memberships, and I do a little bit of our marketing and social media.
Okay, excellent. So now, if you didn't know, I guess if you want to copy the chat, if you pull up your chat window and then you see the three dots on the right at the bottom, if you click save chat, then you can save the chat and have everybody's info from tonight's session, which is always helpful. If you haven't connected with everybody on here via LinkedIn, that will make it much easier, so you can know the spelling of their name and how to get to them. Anything, Len, you got anything to share before we go?
No, other than keeping an eye out for more information about our spring social, which will happen on May 2nd. So we're excited to get everyone in person on that day. So short of that, I am just glad everybody showed up tonight. Happy to have you.
Great. Well, thanks again for joining us. It's 7:26. My goal is to make it an hour and a half or less because everybody's had a long day, but we can cover a lot in the 90 minutes. So, Rob, you have anything before we go?
Well, I just want to do like you said and thank everybody for showing up. I mean, you can see the time can go. Stan gave some great information. As a certified computer geek, you know, I'm not the most social of persons, so I always find these types of topics very interesting. And of course, you know, the search alone had the hours I can just think going through that now is going to be on my head. But it's been a lot of information that was offered, and it was some very helpful information, extremely helpful. And I look forward to seeing you all in the future, you know? So that's all I have to say. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, great. So then hopefully we'll see you on May 2nd, and then also in person on May 2nd, and then virtually here on May 9th. So you guys take care, have a great week, and we will catch you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking over.
No problem. Are you where are we at